We want to now look at how we can set up the ISLM PC model graphically, where we want to draw the ISLM and PC curves corresponding to a medium run equilibrium under the assumption that inflation expectations are anchored to the central bank's inflation target pi bar. So we're going to plot the Phillips curve under the assumption pi is equal to pi bar. Now, for this, we know in the upper panel, we're going to plot the ISLM curves, right? So this is on the vertical axis, we're going to take the real interest rate R, and on the horizontal axis, we're going to take output Y. Now, we know we have our downward sloping IS curve, and we have our flat LM curve because we're assuming the central bank targets the interest rate and adjusts the money supply to achieve it. This is the LM. Right, so let me just erase this from here a second. And yeah, so this is R. Right, so this is in our ISLM. So in the upper panel, we plotted the ISLM model. We know the intersection is going to give us the, because we're assuming that we want to plot the medium and equilibrium. So in the medium and equilibrium, we know so in medium and equilibrium, we know the real interest rate is equal to the natural rate of interest, R is equal to Rn, and output is equal to the potential level, right? So we are plotting the equilibrium of ISLM as Rn and Yn because we wanted to plot a medium run equilibrium, and in medium run equilibrium, interest rate is equal to the natural rate of interest, and output is equal to the natural level of output. Now we want to plot this. Now we want to plot the Phillips curve in the lower panel. Now the reason we rewrote the Phillips curve equation in terms of the output cap rather than unemployment was so that we could plot them on top of each other with the x-axis aligned. Because so basically here when we plot the Phillips curve on the vertical axis, we're going to take pi minus pi bar. Obviously here pi bar because we're assuming that pi is equal to pi bar. And then on the horizontal axis, we have y, right? So the whole point of writing the Phillips curve equation in terms of output rather than unemployment was so that you can plot them on top of each other with the x-axis aligned. So now we know. So something that we should remember property that we'll discuss in a bit also, that the Phillips curve always crosses the x-axis at where where output is equal to the natural level of output. We'll look at this again, right? So the way I know that this point is going to be on the point where pi minus pi bar is 0, because the Phillips curve will always cross the x-axis at the point where output is equal to potential output, right? And then we can plot our upward sloping Phillips curve here. So this is like, if this is point A over here, so this medium on equilibrium, and this is point A over here. So we know, okay, over here we can see pi at point A, pi minus pi bar is 0. So pi is equal to pi bar. So this means we meet all the conditions of medium and equilibrium. R is equal to Rn, y is equal to yn, and pi is equal to pi bar. Right? These were the conditions we had for medium and equilibrium. The output is equal to the natural level of output. Inflation is equal to expected inflation, which in this case is just equal to the target inflation pi bar, and real interest rate is equal to the natural rate of interest. So before we just end this, let's just look at some properties of the Phillips curve, right? So let's look at some properties. So we know the equation of the Phillips curve is pi minus pi bar is equal to alpha by L y minus yn, right? So we know some properties of this that we have already looked at, but just to reinforce them. So we know it's upward sloping, right? Because we have y on x-axis, not u, as y on x-axis, not u. And the reason we have y is so that we can plot them together, right? In an ISLM model, we have y, so we want y over here also. And you can see from this equation, given y is equal to yn, pi minus pi bar is equal to 0. So the Phillips curve, PC crosses the x-axis at the point where y is equal to yn, right? Right, so this is how we can plot our ISLM PC model corresponding to medium and equilibrium, right? The fact that we plotted it such that at the intersection of IS and LM, R is equal to Rn, Y is equal to Yn is only because we wanted to plot medium and equilibrium. And then we know corresponding to Y is equal to Yn, pi minus pi bar is 0, so pi is equal to pi bar. So we meet all the conditions for medium and equilibrium.